This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Hello, football fans, and welcome to the Onside Kick. My name is Ricky Widmer, and as always, I'm joined by the Mark Weber.
Dub them E's.
And before we get into everything that we need to talk about, we're going to be talking about some Teddy Bridgewater.
You okay, buddy?
I'm not.
You gonna be okay?
I'm not. Let's put it this way. When I heard the news, I was literally sitting at work at my desk sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
Sick to my stomach.
That's why you didn't respond to my text.
Just waiting for everything to, I wanted some news, and I knew we weren't going to get it. Well, we got it tonight. We're going to get into it a little bit later. We've got Trevor Siemian to talk about, Dak Prescott, Colin Kaepernick.
Today's the day of quarterbacks. Yeah.
We got tons of quarterbacks, but before we get into everything, we've got some stuff that we need to rehash. And some of you may be saying, well, whoa, Ricky, you said that last week was a hold us to them. Or hold us to them. Yeah. Predictions for the NFL. Well, I'm going to say this. There's a little asterisk. If an injury happens now until the beginning of the season, me and Mark have the right to change.
Basically, it comes down to the fact of we don't want, January to roll around and you guys say, but you said that 3 teams from the NFC North, or you said the Cowboys.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
And we're like, yeah, okay, but Tony Romo didn't play.
Yeah.
Or Teddy Bridgewater didn't play. Instead, you guys had Brian Hoyer, who you got from the Bears via trade somehow because you gave us Adrian Peterson, and it was an equal trade. Obviously, that doesn't make sense.
So here's how it's going to work. We're going to walk through both. We're only doing 2 rehashes of divisions, the NFC East and the NFC North. Then we're going to walk through our playoffs. If you are a podcast watcher, like let's say you're on YouTube and you just click over to another tab and listen to us, and if you want to see the graphics will be up on the YouTube page. Just wanted to give you guys a warning in case you want to see them, both the playoffs and the divisional graphics will be up. But Mark, let's start with you.
Yeah.
Take me through your NFC East, how things changed with the Romo injury, and then take me through your NFC North. Take me through both of them.
So with the NFC East, as I like to refer to it, the NFC least, really living up to the name this year. So, I've said I've been high on the Giants all this time, and I had them getting into the playoffs. But now they have secured the actual division. They have won the division at 10-6. The Cowboys, they're not terrible because they still have a lot of good pieces. And Dak Prescott looks like he can actually be impressive. We'll talk about that later. But he's still a rookie, and he still hasn't played real talent yet. So they're a 7-9 team now. They lost a lot. You might remember, I think I had them at 11 wins before, and now they're losing a lot. Redskins, I believe, are still at 6-10. Eagles, I think, might have moved up. They're a 5-11 team. They may have been at 5-11 before. But then to move over to the North, I hate it. I hate it so much right now. The Packers went ahead and they won the division at 12-4. I had them losing for sure I had them losing to both the Cowboys and the Vikings. Now they've won both those games. So that's unfortunate. They're also the number 2 seed, which really pains me. But they are still losing to the Chicago Bears one game. Pointing that out because the Chicago Bears, have won one of the games at least against the Vikings. They've squeezed their way. There's a good chance they could win both, depending on who that quarterback is. But we'll get to that later. 11-5. The Chicago Bears suddenly are an 11-5 team. Even at 10-6, they still would have gotten in. Even at 9-7, they still would have gotten into the playoffs at the number 6 seed. Vikings are now a 9-7 team. And, of course, the Lions still are at 5. Actually, no, they went up 1. They're 5-11 now.
Yeah, I'm going to actually start with the North. There's not a lot differences that me and you have, but they're just minor differences. Like, for example, the Vikings, I had them at a 12-4 team with Teddy Bridgewater. Now, without Bridgewater, I have them at a 7-9 team. The reason why the games that I switched that were wins now are losses. Week 2 against the Packers, not going to happen. Week 4 against the Giants, we're not going to win that one. We're going to lose to the Redskins, lose to the Colts, and I even gave us a loss in Jacksonville just because it's in Jacksonville and I'm high on the Jaguars this year. So if we run right down my standings, Packers are at the top, second seed overall, like you said. They now get bumped into that at 13-3. Bears are number 2 at 11-5. Vikings are 7-9. Our season is over. And then the Lions at 3-13. If I go over into my East, the first thing I did when Tony Romo went down was switched everything up. Giants were at the top. However, now with the Teddy Bridgewater injury, that's all different. And how my East looks is the Redskins are at the top at 10-6. The Giants are in the playoffs right behind them at 10-6. The Cowboys now fall to 7-9. And the Eagles get one extra win because I gave them one against the Cowboys now. And they're a 4-win team at 4-12. Still in last place, though. But what we're going to do now is kind of really quickly go, not completely through. I'm going to throw the graphic up.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty spitfire, I
think. I'm going to throw the graphic up for Mark's playoffs first, then mine, how things change. Just talk about how they change. We don't have to run through game by game. It's going to be
You want to go through the whole thing? All the way to the Super Bowl?
Just the changes. What big changes happened for you?
So, basically, seeding-wise, I'm just going to run down from top to bottom. In the NFC, we got the Seahawks at 1, Packers at 2, the Panthers at 3. They got bumped down by the Packers now. Giants are 4. 5 still is the Cardinals. 6 is the Chicago Bears. Flipping to that, number 1 in the AFC is still the Steelers. Number 2 is the Jets. Number 3 is the Chiefs. 4 is the Colts. None of this has really changed. The thing that has changed is coming up soon. The 5th seed, still the New England Patriots, but somehow, some way, the 6th seed, the Buffalo Bills have snuck their way into the playoffs over the 9-7 Bengals.
Rex Ryan keeps his job.
Somehow, some way, Rex Ryan, the cockroach, has kept his job. But really, the way this changes, the Bears are going to play the Panthers in the opening round. The Panthers had the week 1 bye. Doesn't matter. Panthers are going to win. Cardinals are still going to beat the Giants. Not much changing with that. The Bills are going to lose to the Chiefs. Nothing's really changing there. I think that the only thing we have a matchup against the Panthers and the Packers, but I still had the Panthers over it. And then nothing has changed. Everything's still the same for Cardinals, Panthers, and Steelers and Chiefs, and then Steelers beating the Cardinals in the Super Bowl.
So your Super Bowl, that stayed the same.
My conference game stayed exactly the same.
It was just minor differences in the wild card in the division.
Yeah, I mean, even the home team was still the same in the NFC. Panthers still had that home game.
Now, I had, before we get into mine, and I'm going to switch over to the graphic right now, I had a huge thing that apparently my calculations changed so much to where I just want to say this. The Viking-Jaguar game that I gave to the Jaguars, these are the implications that it had. If the Vikings won that game, the Steelers would have won the North, and the Raiders would have been in at 10-6, being the 6th seed. However, I gave it to the Jaguars. So what happened? Because of tiebreakers, Cincinnati now wins the North at 10-6. And now instead of the Raiders, Jacksonville gets in with the 6th seed.
It's the fun thing about football. One thing can change everything.
One game, and the teams that I talked about were not in that game. So I'm going to stick with it and give it to the Jaguars. I'm going to start with the AFC side, run right through it. My number 1 team now, 12-4, the Indianapolis Colts. Number 2 at 12-4, the New England Patriots. So the Patriots get bumped a little bit. Then at 3, the Chiefs. They're going to play the 6th seed in Jacksonville in Kansas City. And then the 5th seed Jets will play the 4th seeded Bengals. Going to run through it really quickly. Jets beat the Bengals. Chiefs beat the Raiders. That means that the Jets will play the Colts and lose to the Colts. The Chiefs play the Patriots, lose to the Patriots. My AFC championship changes now. It is no longer a Steeler-Patriot game. It is now a Deflategate rematch. The year after Deflategate is over, Tom Brady wins, goes on to the Super Bowl with regular inflated football.
Sorry, Tom.
Then on into
another team that might need Mark Sanchez.
On the other side, the number 1 seeded team is still the Cardinals. The Packers now get a bye, move up to the 2nd seed. The 3rd seeded team now gets switched back, is now the Carolina Panthers. Redskins at 4, Bears move up to 5, Giants are at 6. Running through the playoffs really quick. You've got 6 versus 3. Panthers, Giants. Panthers all day. Then 4-5, Bears, Redskins. This could be the best game if this was the playoffs. Might be the best game. I'm going to give it to the Redskins, though, just because I'm scared of all the injury problems that the Bears have right now. So that would mean the Redskins would go on and play the Cardinals. They'd lose. There's not a chance they're winning that game. Then the Panthers would play the Packers in Lambeau. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it to the Panthers, even without Josh Norman, even with Jordy Nelson on the Packers. So it's still a Carolina and Arizona NFC Championship game in Arizona. Arizona wins, and Arizona still beats the Patriots. So, I mean, one of my AFC Championship changed. The NFC one did not. My Super Bowl stays the same. Cardinals over the Patriots.
Yep. So basically, things are going to be very different. Obviously, some things we're going to see in the next few weeks, I highly doubt that Sean Hill actually is going to play. We'll get into all that stuff later, but all this could potentially be different. I hate to say it this way, but injuries matter. If something hugely significant happens, maybe we'll do an update, but I don't think we're going to do any updates from here. I think it's pretty safe.
This was the big one. We had to. I mean, when Teddy Bridgewater goes down.
Yeah, we weren't going to do it with Tony Romo, with just the Tony Romo injury. We're like, it's just one team, big deal. But now with two, we had to.